All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. It's going to be your Friday live, 1 p.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Texas. Congratulations, you have survived another week of tyranny. So, without further ado, let me jump over to the board. Make sure when you get the chance to hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification. So let's get over the board real fast, show you guys what's going on here across the country. Now, currently sitting at about 354 aircraft up. Pretty busy day. We usually see this kind of activity on a Friday. Usually a lot of heavy movers going on, which seems to be pretty consistent. I do see a couple B-52s up. We'll zoom in and get a closer look here in just a second on that one. This Nomad 62 is actually, looks like that bad dude was up doing a little swipe back and forth, grabbing some intel. So you guys can see that's one of our little MC-12 Beechcraft aircraft. All right. Now, let's look here at the middle of the board, and then we'll delve into what's going on with Flashbang and all the other fun stuff that's out there today. Now, I am going to show you guys a little more information as it goes to the Cyber Symposium. I want just want to show you guys what took place. I'll show you how we actually caught him red-handed doing a swipe again of data, flying over the area, and then I will show you that they have also gone dark with their goon balloon currently. So this is going to be one of your little BE-20s, Sierra 12. That's also a little spy bird. It looks like he's about to roll in right behind this Ocean 89 here. They both seem to be heading in the same path and pattern here. Now, these sentries, they've been pretty active this week out here along the border, really. Here's one down here for you, doing the same thing. Now, you note that little tight turn right there, and he's getting ready to start going into it again. He's gathering data, I'm telling you, straight up. Now, he may be working dual purpose here because there are a lot of trainers up right now, but typically they will do a longer, elongated pattern and not that short little circle stuff like that. So, again, that was some AWACS pilot that reached out to me and told me what was going on with that. I had no idea they had that capability, so it's just interesting to see. Another one headed southbound. So you've got one headed southwest, one headed southwest here, and then one already down here. And then, of course, it's San Antonio down here. All right. B-52 up. And, well, there's a fourth AWACS right there. So there's another one, Nova 81. Looks like he's just getting airborne. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 AWACS up in that general area, and then 2 B-52s. And let me just double check here. I kind of expect this region to be pretty hopping right now, just because we do have a naval exercise that's still ongoing. And same thing over here in Jacksonville. Now, all of this congestion right here, these are all trainers. That's going to be your Panhandle, Pensacola. You can see him running the train right there. All right. And a couple scattered thunderstorms rolling through the area. But let me just, as I kind of give a quick look over. Yeah. All right. Let me back up just a tad. And let's kind of get into the meat of all of this. Now, we do have a couple, just before I roll out, we do have a couple aircraft, 3 of them actually, that look to be headed across the drink. I think there is some stuff going on relative to the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. We've put some Marines on the ground, and we're trying to do an evac on that. And that's going to be a hot evac, I can tell you, based on what I'm hearing. So won't go into too much detail on that because that is an active mission, and I don't want to do anything to compromise our guys over there. So, but after it's all said and done, and we see the dust settle, I will fill you in on all the stuff that I was hearing. So. All right, now let's get over here to the board on this over Sioux Falls right now. We're talking about what was going on with this Cyber Symposium. You will see that there is no longer a loon balloon that is up. Just so you guys see that. It has now gone off radar, okay? Now, again, like I said before, Sioux Falls is the home of Raven Aerospace. They are the ones that are actually launching and send those things out. But typically that thing, we would track it and watch it go. It seems like they had a mission over here, and then they've since turned the transponder off, and of course there are no other balloons up, which is not unusual. They are up, believe me. Probably many of them. We just don't see them. Okay. Now let's get over here to one of the things I did want to show you. We caught this. Now this is a aircraft tail number. This is N314HB. Now I just want to show you the area that this thing was running this grid was over. That's Sioux Falls. All right. And so this was done on Wednesday. Okay. Which was, they were doing the Emporium or the cyber thing going on with Lindell, right? That was happening. I don't know why I said Emporium. Just rolled off the tongue there. But anyway, they were actively doing that during the time these guys were engaged in that. Okay, so we caught them red-handed, right? Now, just to show you at the same time, this was, I went to the Wayback Machine here. This is on Flight Radar 24. You can go into that. You pull up the airport and then you just go in and set the time so you can look at it. Now, this is a Cessna 310R, and you can see this thing's actually flying track. Okay, it is sped up right now, 12x. Now, note the Google balloon is still out here as well. Okay, so this thing was over Sioux Falls the previous 2 days, and then it's just kind of slowly out into this general area. But I don't know what the range capability is on that, but at 60,000 feet, I would imagine it's pretty significant. All right, so we catch it. We see the airplane flying. Now, let me break away from that because, as you can see, that I want to show you. I did a little, pulled the thread on this. Now, this is owned and operated by a company called Mark Inc. Okay. Now, Mark Inc., when I went and found, because I was looking for information on it, they're a Mississippi-based company. They actually had an aircraft that ottered into the ground. This is back in 2019. But I just wanted to show you here that they are North America's largest provider of specialized contract aircraft. Note here, airborne, GIS, survey, and the last thing here, very important, surveillance projects. All right. So there you have it. So that aircraft, we do have it confirmed with the company right here on the board, this one, and we've caught them red-handed going through this. And of course, they run the whole grid. You can go back as we're looking at at this one here. That's over. I mean, that definitely covers the symposium. Okay, that's in Sioux Falls in its entirety. All right. Okay, so like I said, same thing happened over Arizona when they were doing the audits. This is just par for course. This is what happens when you live under tyranny. Okay. All right. Now let's get over to Guantanamo Bay. Let's get into what's going on there. Now I will tell you guys, it has slowed down significantly. It was for a hot minute from about mid-May to the end of June. There was more traffic coming in and out of that place, but it has since just kind of leveled off. These planes that we see coming in, this one here, it popped in at 6:55 this morning. I think that may be a regular flight. They seem to be coming in on Tuesday and Friday. So there's no telling really what is going on with that. Now, what I do want to do, and you can see the board's clear for a Friday. Normally we see, at least on the schedule side, we normally see inbound a bunch of stuff from Norfolk and a few others. Sorry, it never fails. I go live. The dogs bark, man. It's just hopefully you guys don't get it too much. But anyway, that aircraft, as we kind of watch it, we were looking for the Norfolk stuff to come in. Typically, that's a supply run on Fridays. I don't see that on the board yet, which is unusual. But there's that one aircraft. Now we go over here to 301AZ, and we'll come back to this, the one that's on the board right now. But 301AZ expected to depart in an hour and 36 minutes. Looks to be heading out of Iowa over to White Plains, New York. But what I want to do is kind of go back and look at some things on this, because remember, I was talking about how this plane was seen up in Nantucket over the party weekend. I know it was at Martha's Vineyard, but there were 600 people invited. And so Nantucket was also hopping because there was a lot of aircraft flying into that location. It is just a short, quick hop over to Martha's Vineyard from Nantucket. Okay. And so this was one of the birds. I said this is kind of concerning because I know this is a white hat operation, and the fact that they seem to be fully ingrained. So just kind of shows you, like I said, it's a little concerning. But note, this is the other thing that concerns me. Note this bad dude was over here in Newcastle. You know who was in Newcastle? Been there all week, actually. Yeah, Flashbang, right? That's where he rolls in and out of. That's Wilmington, Delaware, okay? And so that was in there on Thursday, and then over to White Plains. So a little concerning, again, to see that and see the location and the proximity to that, knowing who was there, knowing what was going on with the parties, and knowing that we thought is a white hat operation. Now, it's Sister 1, 302 AZ, scheduled for Lauderdale down to Key West. Now, I'm pointing this one out because if you remember, we were talking about how I've noticed some of the Gitmo birds, the commander birds, actually leaving Guantanamo Bay and going over to Key West. Okay, well, if it's a naval air station, you kind of expect to see that, but there was a little bit of a bump in terms of tempo with the base commander's bird, and that's one of the Gitmo birds, right? Going to this location. So it made me start to think, because I saw the DOJ down there as well in the same area, that, hey, we've got some court hearings or something going on here where they may be, the fact that the DOJ was down there, we were watching some of our Guantanamo Bay birds fly in and out of there, as well as the Gitmo commander, which is, you typically see him as Gitmo 344, 844, 845, whatever. But the base commander was there in addition to our Gitmo birds, in addition to the DOJ. So it makes me wonder if we don't have some type of a trial or hearings going on over here at this location. Okay. All right, we'll continue to keep our eye on that. Let's get over here to 163 PA, which is going to be, these are gray birds. Just wanted to show you that one is currently landed 47 minutes ago, rolled out of Greece, which is, I think, their operation, that side of the globe. Went to Dubai, so UAE. All right, now remember, you're just a hop, skip, and a jump over to Afghanistan from there. So I think that's some pre-positioning going on there. Don't really see, that's one of the first times I've seen them in the UAE in a while. I do see them down here in the Horn of Africa, up here in Egypt from time to time. So in 173 PA, again, sister ship, that one is actually en route. It's headed, looked like it just took off out of DC. Oh, sorry, Cartersville, Georgia, headed to Terra Sierra, which that is one of our prison locations. My guess is they're not headed there for the prison. They're there getting some gas, and they're going to be headed over here to the Middle East. They'll probably be in Cyprus as well. Okay, so we'll keep our eye on that. But that's what I think is getting ready to happen. That's headed out here. So landed 14 minutes ago, Terra Sierra Island. All right, now this is a Maxwell bird. Landed about 20 hours ago. Came out of Teterboro, New Jersey, down to Lauderdale. And again, this is one we just kind of keep our eyes on, because this actually was rolling into, it was at the spa earlier this week, and it was an out-of-sequence deal, and it was one that had 2 flight plans filed, and there's some fishy stuff going on with that one. I'm not really sure just yet what is going on. You never know. Maybe Miss Maxwell has been going back and forth for something. Maybe. Who knows? But let's get over here now to N631JS. This is the one that actually landed this morning at Guantanamo Bay. It looks like it has, since it's flying over to Tampa, then from Tampa up to St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, so we'll keep our eye on the news cycle and see if anything pops. If you remember the other day, we were actually looking at the it was actually, we had a flight that was flying around doing some surveillance over Savannah, and we had a bunch of helos, some H-60s in there, and I said it looks a lot like a Dagger operation going on. We'll watch the news cycle to see if anything starts to pop, if we see an uptick into the spa, see if there's some arrests that take place. Last time that I've seen those things happen, there has been some type of a big thing pop in the news. So usually within about a week to 10 days. So we'll keep an eye on it, all right? Okay, over to the bananas, which is the fun part, right? Because we've got so many people just coming to this country right now. It's insane. But I just want to point out, these are all the active flights. This is a live radar of all the Swift Air flights that are currently airborne, okay? Now, we'll just show you these two from Miami are headed over here to the Dominican Republic. You've got one rolling out of Brownsville, border town, headed to San Diego. You have one that's down in Mexico. It looks like I think that's Mexico. Again, NA, no destination listed. All right, we see that from time to time. There's something they're hiding on those particular ones because why not show it? They don't want you to see it. This one, El Paso over to, wow, look at that, Laughlin Air Force Base. So there you go. You got a plane load of bananas headed to our military installation. McAllen, another border town, headed back down to Mexico, it looks like. And then looks like we got a flight out of Mexico to San Antonio, bringing in more bananas. And everything else looks to be kind of like the normal thing, probably the other end of cycle legs of previous flights. Okay. All right, now let's get into kind of the weeds on this. Now, this is going to be in 397 SW. Again, this is a Swift Air flight. Landed about 20 hours ago, came out of Guadalajara, Mexico to Phoenix, Arizona. Then we've got 149XA, landed 24 minutes ago, took off from Del Rio, which is actually Laughlin Air Force Base, over to San Antonio, Texas. So quick little hop, bringing some peeps over. Notice that where it came out of Miami and went to Del Rio, Texas, to Laughlin Air Force Base. All right, that was this morning. It landed at 10:30 a.m. on the Air Force Base. Okay, in 531 AU, that one is currently en route. It's landing in about 18 minutes, coming out of El Paso. Ah, look at that again, Laughlin Air Force Base. So looks like the Air Force Base is pretty busy today. Imagine that. So you can see here Laughlin. So it's going to roll out of Laughlin. It's headed to Denver. So it looks like we've got some bananas headed up to Denver, Colorado, Sanctuary City. And let's just kind of look back on this one, making sure. So this is Friday. Yeah, that was a week ago. So, but this is today, actually, Friday 13th. So we've got one went. Let's see here, Brownsville over to El Paso. Then from there, it took some people over here to this thing's been flying really kind of tight on the Mendoza Diagonal today. So these are all border areas, okay, except for Denver. Denver is not. Okay, now in 629 SW, this one is rolling out of Honduras, currently en route to San Antonio, bringing some more bananas up. So again, red-handed. And you know who's paying for these flights, right? You're not just, you're chartering complete aircraft and paying for every bit of it, man. That's your money. All right, let's get over here to N964CE. This thing's going to be departing here in about 44 minutes, headed out of Nicaragua up to Laredo, Texas. All right. Again, bringing more people in. And it looks like it's interesting because it's got a dual flight plan, again, right here, filed. So kind of strange. I don't know why they do that. Maybe a pilot knows. And I'm not a pilot. So this is going to be one of our aeronaves coming out of Mexico, headed over to another Mexican location. And then I don't see anything else on the board. My guess is from here it'll probably jump into the U.S. All right. Just keeps getting better and better. All right, now this is actually going to be N124TX. This is actually the Texas Department of Safety, and it looks like he's running some routes here along the border. So that is right. Literally, that's a Mendoza Diagonal you see right there. He's just following it, and it looks like he went out and was looking a little closer at this general area right here. So interesting. Just another data point. We're watching. We just aren't doing anything about it. So I honestly think everything that I'm seeing here, that this border is collapsed. They're not really even bothering. We've gotten reports where people have seen buses pull up to gas stations in the middle of nowhere, really, outside of a big city, let people off, and then the buses leave, and then there's all of these people just go about their business, man. I guess we got you to position X and you're on your own. I don't know. It's kind of strange. But here's another one here. This one's actually leaving Del Rio. Sorry, wait, I just looked at that one. Sorry. N956TX. That one actually was out in Marfa yesterday and back over to Del Rio. Again, these are surveillance birds. These are Texas Department of Public Safety. You can see the same exact same kind of area. I think we got eyes on them. We're just not doing anything. So, okay. Now, there was a story that I saw that was pumped out there that talks about Abilene Regional as being one of the spots they had seen folks coming in and getting off. Now, I will tell you, I've been looking at this board and I'm not seeing anything that really catches my eye. I definitely don't see any Swift aircraft at this point. I do see a couple. There's some medical flights that roll through here, but not seeing anything yet. So I don't know. They were saying how that is kind of a hot spot and all these people are coming in. We'll keep our eye on this. If I see something pop onto the board, as of right now, it looks like between El Paso, McAllen, Brownsville, and then of course the Air Force Base, Laughlin, those 4 locations along the border seem to be kind of the hot spots where everything is going. Okay. And so, but we'll keep our eye on this just to see if anything pops in. If you're in that area or work at that airport or whatever it may be, and you see, a plane land and a bunch of them get off, if you can just grab a tail number for me, that's all I want. Don't need pictures or anything. Just, note the tail number, send it to me, and then we'll start tracking it. Okay. All right. Now, this is over here at Laughlin Air Force Base. I'm just going to show you guys the board in terms of arrivals and departures. Now, notice this one is, it arrived out of El Paso. This one's out of Miami. We talked about those two just a minute ago. And then these departures here, looks like they're rolling out of the Air Force Base, headed over San Antonio. And then these other 2 are headed to Alexandria, which we know is a 72-hour holding facility, processing facility, where they are probably released. We've already caught the flights coming out of there headed to New Jersey and all other different places all over the U.S. So, and then this is one of your scheduled departures. We looked at that as well, right? Headed up to Denver. All right, now let's get over to the people that are really pushing all of this, your government. And so as we start to look closer, we've got C-202 that landed 17 hours ago. That bad dude was down here in Brownsville, back up to D.C. That is going to be your Director of Homeland Security, okay? And so probably checking in on the operation, making sure, everything was going to plan, I would imagine. So, but yeah, it rolled in on Thursday. It rolled in on Wednesday out of the Brown Zone down to McAllen, and then from McAllen it jumped over here to Brownsville, which is a very quick hop. And then it looks like he rolled out of Brownsville, so he was checking out the operation. And again, smoking gun. Last one here is going to be your DOJ. Just want to show N721AL. So you guys can see they're currently en route. Now, they have been in New Mexico all week, and I don't know why they're stopping in Fort Worth Alliance. Not really sure, but they were here. As I mentioned the other day, when they arrived, what day was that here coming out? So that was on Monday. On Monday, we actually had one of their little spy birds up over Flower Mound, flying around, grabbing some intel around the same time. And then, of course, they left there and went to Santa Fe, New Mexico. It looks like they dropped a team off and then probably came back through, pick some folks up. So we'll watch the news cycle to see if we get anything relative to, some arrest, or the North Texas DOJ has a big bust or something going on. So it looks like they are headed back to the Brown Zone, maybe. We'll see. Their heading currently doesn't look like that, but we'll keep an eye on them. Let's get over here real fast to the TFRs and talk about flashbang. I know I glossed right over that because I was going into the old cyber symposium. But just wanted to point out that he has, at 1 o'clock today, so about an hour and a half ago, I guess, he basically rolled out of Wilmington, Delaware, and he is now over at Camp David. Okay, so he's going to be spending the weekend at Camp David up here. That's the new TFR. These boxes, it looks like the entire state of Michigan right now is pretty much without power. Pretty crazy. These red ones are pretty serious outages. Looks like those storms took everything out of commission. So Don't see any other TFRs out here that really, we got our normal border stuff. Not seeing anything that's, just double check here which one that is. Security TFR, that's Anaheim. That's going to be your Disney out on the West Coast, which we got the same thing over Disney on the other side. These are border TFRs in that general area. And that's going to be military base, security. I'm not seeing any others. This is Beale. These up here, these boxes, and you've got some kind of weird colors going on. That is going to be a firebox TFR, so they're fighting some pretty big fires up here, it looks like. And then actually that other colored box that's over it is power outages. So surprise, surprise. So looks like you're losing some power out here on the grid in California. Same thing here. So that's a pretty major. When it goes red, that'll be really major power outage. Blue is just scattered. This just means there's some folks out there that don't have it. So same thing with all these. These are TFRs relative to power outages. So, okay, let's get back over to the main board real fast and we will wrap up. Again, now one of the things I will point out, I'm going to kind of head over here to the Middle East just so I can show you guys. We do have, my mouse is wanting to grab for some reason. Got a couple drones, surveillance drones up. You can see this one that's over Spain. You could see it. All right. That one's over Spain. Slow mover. He's pretty low, actually, 1,300 feet. 49 knots, which is pretty slow. And then you've got this one here. This is going to be same thing, 60. You can see where they were actually doing it just outside of Tunisia. You can see this over the water. So probably got some pirates doing some things out here, I would imagine. That area along just, this whole area right in here is pretty bad with pirates trying to take over cargo vessels and stuff. So, all right. And then down here, this is going to be our Black Wolf 13. Just so you guys know, that's also a surveillance bird. We figured that one out. For those that didn't see it last time, you can see all the stuff on it. This thing's pretty outfitted. And so it kind of solves the mystery there. And the Middle East right now, there's really nothing going on in terms of, there's stuff going on over Kabul, but I'm not going to, or Kabul, sorry. The embassy is basically being evacuated. We've got Marines on the ground. We've got a big exercise, or not exercise, a big event going on there where they're actually trying to, do a hot evac and get these folks out of there. So you can see there's nothing really to show airspace wise. When the dust settles, I'll fill you in on some of the intel that I was getting from, somebody that's kind of hands-on, knows that area very well. And so, but just kind of what he was telling me and filling me in. So keep your prayers and thoughts on these folks here. Our troops are going to need it. And so if you would, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. So, all right, folks, listen, that's going to wrap up our sit rep for this week. Again, we'll be back on Monday evening for the Patreon folks. It'll be live. Then we'll be posting it out onto YouTube for everybody else. So that's it. You guys be safe out there. God bless. Funky out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworxus.com.